Welcome to northeastern Kyrgyzstan. Today we're gonna embark on another adventure. We're gonna be looking for a super beautiful Soviet monument located in the Kyrgyzstan mountains. It's a monument of the first man in space, of the cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin. And this monument isn't only about the first man in space, it's about a time when people truly believed that the future would be better than the past. An optimistic time, much different than today. I'm here in Karakol, fourth biggest city in Kyrgyzstan, and we're gonna wait for a marshrutka that can bring us there. I'm in the marshrutka now. We're just waiting to leave Karakol, and then we're gonna be on our way to Barskoon village along the beautiful Issyk-Kul lake. Legend has it that this lake is the reason Yuri Gagarin came here, because on his flight in space, it's said that he saw the lake from space and found it so beautiful. That's why he came here to Kyrgyzstan for vacationing after his flight. That's where we're gonna go today. To the place where Gagarin used to vacation after he saw Earth from space. So I just got dropped off here at the petrol station from the marshrutka. This is the closest station, but we still have like 17-18 kilometers to the monument. So now the next challenge is to find a taxi, because here in Kyrgyzstan every car is a taxi. So hopefully someone can take us there. Gas stations seem to be a great place to get a ride. It was super easy. And now we're on our way. A few more kilometers to go. We're gonna go into the mountains now. Before we continue, we have a little stop here, and I just saw on the other side of the road there are some tanks. Barskoon, the town is called. Here we have some tanks, some Soviet war memorial, I think, yeah. There you see 1941 to 1945 memorial for the Great Patriotic War, for the Second World War. Yeah, that's like just a very small town here. There's not much going on, I don't think. And I told you guys about the legend that Gagarin saw Lake Issyk-Kul, which is just down there on the other side. He saw that lake from space, so that is the legend. That's what people say. That's why he wanted to come here, because it's a huge lake here in Central Asia. But it is true that after he went to space, he came here to this very place for holiday. He visited some sanatoriums here at the shore of Lake Issyk-Kul. He also went horse tracking to experience the beautiful nature of Kyrgyzstan. And that is when they built this monument that we're gonna visit today. It is getting pretty warm now, so before we continue, I see if I can find some water somewhere. There's lots of restaurants down here. Someone will sell some water for sure. I think over there is a little market. Surprisingly busy here. So let's see if we can find some water that is not flavored. Here we go. Because the monument is located rather remotely, there's no shops. That's why we should stock up on water down here when we have the chance to. While waiting in line, I noticed that there are actually lots of Russian tourists around. I think it's quite popular for them to visit the Gagarin monument. That was a chaotic supermarket. We got the water, so let's go. Let's continue. Let's go. And then I was on my way into the Kyrgyz mountains, but with every kilometer it got harder and harder for the car to make it up the mountain, until we eventually had to stop. So I think there's an issue with the car. We have this old Mercedes. And as you can see, there's only gravel road here. All good? All good, we continue. Let's hope we make it up to the Gagarin. Let's pray this car doesn't break down. And it only took a couple of minutes until we broke down again. Uh-oh. So it's a Mercedes. German quality should get us up there. But I'm not exactly sure right now. Yeah, at this point I really wasn't sure if we would make it. Let's go. Or Poyekali, what Gagarin said when he got shot into space. Let's go. Guys, we made it. Here we are. Here we have the Gagarin monument of the first man in space, the first cosmonaut in space from the Soviet Union. And the landscape is beautiful. So interestingly, this monument was actually destroyed after the fall of the Soviet Union, and it was only rebuilt later with the help of Moscow. And the story of Gagarin is very inspiring, but also very sad at the same time. Gagarin was such a humble man. He never wanted to be famous, though he circled the Earth for 108 minutes. After he was in space, he suddenly became the most popular person on Earth, not only in the Soviet Union, but on Earth. He toured the world, he went to other countries. He did go to the UK, for example, because people wanted to see him. And that is just so inspiring. That is when the space age started, when everyone was so optimistic, when everyone thought the future is gonna be better than the past. Gagarin actually never wanted to be famous, but after his flight in space, he was the most famous man in the whole world, and the Soviet Union used him heavily for the propaganda. They made him tour around the world, and at the same time he was grounded from further space flights because he was just way too valuable for the Soviet Union. And nowadays some people suggest that this led Gagarin to struggle with mental health issues. After touring the world, he was allowed to resume his training as a fighter pilot, and on March 27th, 1968, when flying a MiG-15 fighter jet, he crashed and did not come out of that alive. Today, some people speculate that he crashed on purpose because of his depressions. Other people suggest that the USSR government was actually responsible for the crash, because Gagarin was beloved among the people even more than the Soviet leaders, and of course that was dangerous for the USSR. Because if Gagarin would have spoken negatively about the government, people would have believed him, and that was a real threat to the Soviet Union. However, there is no hard evidence supporting any of these theories. So whatever the reason was for Gagarin's crash, until today he remains a hero, and I personally find his story truly inspiring.